In one of my previous videos, I talked about my old Foldabots shoebox. It was a quick video. It took a few days to make because we had just moved in on our new apartment. And I was still testing the new setup I had, which was basically just connecting a DSLR camera to my computer and using that to record footage of me talking. But yeah, I made a quick video about Foldabots and expressed my interest in buying any Foldabots media that people might have kept in recent years. A few people approached me, but it was the first person who approached me who apparently, basically, had almost all of the Foldabots media that I still didn't have yet at that point. This person, who asked me not to mention their name in order to remain anonymous, gave me a copy of all of the Foldabots comics that weren't compiled into volumes in the Foldabots Chronicles series, and also gave me a link to a Google Drive which contained all 8 of the Foldabots toy books, some of the original Kzone bios and patterns of the first generations of Foldabots, and even the patterns for the Pretzel Special Edition Foldabots. This Google Drive had more than I anticipated. It's not complete since there were a few Foldabot patterns that were still missing, which were mostly newer released Foldabots in the franchise, so that made sense. And luckily enough, another person approached me, saying that they have physical copies of most of the Foldabots toy books, as well as the Kzone exclusive Foldabots that were never compiled into toy book volumes. I said to them to show pictures, and they complied, showing me several proofs of evidence in their next email response. My email conversation with this person lasted for about a week or so, because I had to make a spreadsheet of the Foldabots that I gained with the first person and see which ones I was still missing. Turns out that this second person had what I needed, so I proposed a trade at first, but eventually I realized that this person probably has almost all of the copies anyway, so I just ended up paying for digital copies of the Foldabot patterns that I was still missing. I spent just about 90 pesos in that transaction, which is very much as low as it can get, because if you think about it, this person could have easily increased their price range, since even if it was just a digital copy, who knows whether or not somebody else was out there with the same amount of digital copies as this person had. They might have been the only person who had that almost complete of a collection, and they just gave me such a low price. So props to this second person for keeping their prices low. They easily could have asked for more. That's just what I'm saying. If I were in their shoes, that's probably what I would have done, honestly. Other than those two Foldabots collectors, there's this Facebook account named Avida Juan, who apparently has a whole gallery of the digital scans of the Foldabots bios. So I saved copies of those scans to add to my collection, since I'm assuming that's okay to do, since it's just publicly shared on Facebook. But what do I do next, is the question that needs to be answered. Now that I also have an almost complete copy of the bios and patterns of all of the Foldabots, as well as a copy of the uncompiled chapters of the Foldabots Chronicles series, do I share this to the public so that all of you who are interested in finding and collecting Foldabots would also have copies of your own to enjoy? Or do I keep this to myself, because doing otherwise might risk legal issues? Maybe I should email Joe Mike Tejido again and ask for advice on what to do in this particular situation. The first person who reached out to me told me that Joe Mike Tejido is looking for new publishers to compile more of the Foldabots comics or toy books. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that's something that I generally want to see happen. Not only that, I want the whole Foldabots franchise to see the light of day again, regardless of if it's connected to the Kzone magazines or not. So providing the public of digital copies of the original releases of the Foldabots, what would that do for the potential future, potential reboot maybe, of the Foldabots franchise? Would I risk lowering the chances of there being a comeback for Foldabots? Or would it actually help the cause? Sort of a hashtag bring back Foldabots movement, or whatever. I'll let you know what I do in the next video. The Foldabot patterns and/or bios that I'm still missing are Lupet with Uwak and Sipit's toy book pattern from TB2, Pasada's toy book pattern from TB2, Kidlat's Kzone bio from the May 2008 Kzone issue, and his toy book bio and pattern from TB2, Delubio and Sigua's toy book pattern from TB2. Check the description down below to see the full spreadsheet I made regarding Foldabots. As always, I'll see you in the next one.